Great. So let's come down into a seated position, however you like, preferably on the floor, but it doesn't need to be for the start of your practice. So I like to come into Sukhasana, easy pose with my legs crossed. If you are coming into that pose, just pop the opposite leg in front, and that allows an equal balance between your muscles rather than having a more dominant leg. So let's take a moment to settle into your seats. Let's roll our shoulders a couple of times. Just the temptation is to go quickly here, but just really slow everything down. So take some real slow, deep rolls. And the opposite way. And then loosely rest the hands on your legs. If your legs are out front, rest them on your thighs, maybe on your inner thighs or knees if you are cross-legged. And then just lengthen the back of your neck. So not really looking up or down, just tilting the chin slightly on a diagonal. So the back of the neck is lengthened and closing your mouth. Just coming to your practice, transitioning away from work. Part the jaws, so there's the tension releasing in the jaw area. And breathing in and out of the nose. So we're going to begin with a breath called square breath. It's ideal you've got a computer probably in front of you, because your screen is going to be your guidance of your breath. And this is a really, really good breath to do if you want to calm your parasympathetic system, your nervous system, and slow down any heart rates or manage any kind of anxiety. So the way it works, if you take the left-hand side of your screen and you're going to inhale as your eyes travel up the left-hand side of the screen. You hold onto the breath as your eyes travel across the top of the screen. And then you exhale as you come down the right-hand side of the screen. Hold your breath as you come along the bottom. So you get the picture, but what I will say is the goal of this is to lengthen and extend that breath with those pauses in between. So it's not that kind of unconscious, short, shallow breath. So we can just calm everything down. So if you haven't started already, begin with me at the bottom corner of your screen. Take a big inhale in, inhale, 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 all the way to the top corner. Hold that breath as you travel along the top. Exhaling, traveling down the right side, holding onto that breath, not letting it go too quickly. Hold at the bottom. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. You can make your breath as loud or as noisy as you like. Inhale. Really allow that chest to rise, that tummy to rise. Pause. Exhale. Pause. It's going to travel around twice more. Inhaling. Pause. Exhaling. Hold. Inhaling. Hold. Exhaling. And returning to your normal breath. Just allow your breath to return however it likes. It might be continuing with that pattern we've done, but just take a moment to notice whether you're calmer, your heart rate's perhaps slowed. And then we're all going to just move our legs out, give them a little bit of a shake. Hard to see on my screen, sorry, black trousers, black mat. Then we're going to take our heel of our right foot in towards our torso, in towards our hip area, pelvis, followed by the left. Don't worry if your knees are high, that's absolutely fine. Your feet can be further away as well. If you do want to pad them out, that's fine. We're just encouraging those hips to open. If your back is hunched, I recommend you bring your hands behind you to use them as scaffolding to lengthen in the spine. So just allowing those knees to come down first of all, focusing on the exhale. And then without curving the spine, bringing your hands forwards and walking them as far as you are able. So on our fingertips, our palms are not flat, so we're not kind of dumping down. Everything's structured and considered. Sticking your tailbone out. So if you look at me, it's rounding here, but I want you to arch that back, sticking that tailbone out. And maybe when you do that, you can walk your fingertips a little bit more forwards. So this is a really nice lower back release. Just beginning to stretch out that fascia. And really focus on the exhale here, allowing your body to perhaps go a little bit lower with that exhale. And then on the next inhale, purposefully rise your chest up. Walk your hands over to the right side. See if you can walk them a little bit further away, but actively plant that left sitting bone down. It will want to lift. So you've got two forces here. Pressing into your fingertips, allow your head to drop, but also pressing into that left sitting bone. Breathing there. On the next inhale, keep your right fingertips where they are, but opening up on that left side as if you're drawing perhaps a bow and arrow back. Sending those fingertips up to the sky, up to the ceiling. Your gaze can stay down if your neck is screaming at you, or take your gaze up to that thumb. Exhale that left hand down. Walk those fingertips back through center, over to the left. So opposite side, really sit that right sitting bone down, but walk that right fingertips, those right hands away from you, allowing that head to drop. Focusing on the exhale there. And then inhale, bringing that right arm up, drawing it back super slow, purposefully. Maybe following with the gaze up to the fingertips. Breathing there. Perhaps your gaze is down if you prefer. Then on the next exhale, return that right hand down. Walk those hands back to center. Walk them all the way back to your body. Take them behind you so your fingertips are facing forwards, but your arms are coming back. Your elbows bend. Open up the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together and arch your back. You can have your head facing forwards. If it feels okay, you might want to drop your head back. Either staying there, enjoying that opening, or perhaps pressing into those hands more, pressing into the knees, maybe lifting your bottom off the floor, opening up that full side, that frontal plane of your body, and then exhaling, coming down. Walking those hands forwards. Repeating, but we're taking that opposite leg forwards. You might want to bring them out and give them a bit of a shake, particularly if you're not used to sitting cross-legged. So just giving them a little bit of movement and then bringing the opposite in. So this time we're bringing that left heel in, followed by the right. Again, your knees might be high, that's okay. Grab some cushions or holding them with your hands to start before the knees open. and walking those hands forwards. Focusing on the exhale, you might find you go a little bit further this time, but remembering to stick that tailbone out, having that pelvic tilt. Focusing on that exhale. And we walk the hands over to the left, creeping that right hand away. Exhale here. Then inhale, drawing that right arm up to the ceiling, opening that chest. Exhaling it down. Walk the hands to center. Pause. And then over to the right side. Walk that left hand away, planting that left sitting bone actively down on the mat. Next inhale, we open up on that left side, taking your gaze with you or having your gaze down at the mat. Either is good. Exhale that left hand down. Walking the hands forwards. Walking the hands back towards your legs, again taking them back behind you, squeezing those shoulder blades together, squeeze those elbows in, lifting your chest up high, maybe lifting up those hips, maybe dropping back that head. Breathe, squeezing those glutes, and release. Lovely, just roll those wrists, a little bit intense with those weights on them and bringing your legs forwards, giving them a little bit of a shake. Okay, coming on to all fours momentarily. We're tucking our toes here because I know how much you all love a foot stretch. Sarcasm. Walking those hands back towards your knees, your bottom is on top of your heels. Roll those shoulders back. We're taking those arms up, take the gaze up. Really lengthen here, so lengthen out as if someone's pulling your wrists out of your arms. And then as you exhale, bring the palms forward, bring the elbows down, lift your chest, bringing your elbows down to your rib cage. We inhale, come up. So I'll show you on the sides. Exhale, we come down, arching that back, raise the chest. Inhale. Exhale. And then release your hands down. Release your toes. Give them a little bit of a tap so they can forgive you for that intense stretch. Okay, let's take that into our cat-cow. So your knees are hip distance apart, which is 2 fists in between your knees. Spread your fingers wide, middle finger facing forwards, slight grip of the mat, and placing your weight in this fleshy part underneath your thumb. Belly button to your rib cage, so lifting that belly button up towards your back ribs. And just breathing here. 3, 2, and 1. Taking a moment with that structure before we start to create big circles with our hips. So we've started opening up our chest. We're now moving more into that hip focus. So as we inhale, we're coming forwards. As we exhale, we're coming back. At the moment, our spine is straight. Switch directions. And you can make this exaggerated or as subtle as you like. I really like to try and go right down an imaginary wall on each side of my mat because I have tight IT bands and TFLs, but you might want a more subtle circle. Tick-tock your hips side to side. And then on the next inhale, we're coming forwards, sliding one foot back, followed by the other. So we're in a kind of long half plank, gently lowering those hips down, bringing those shoulders back. So we're in a up dog. Breathe. Then exhale, lift your bottoms high. Bring your bottom all the way down towards your heels. Head comes on the mat. Inhale, we rise up. Through that tabletop. Exhale, we drop those hips down. Bring those shoulders back, opening through that chest. Inhale, hips rise. Come down to your child as you exhale. Do this once more. Inhale, we rise. Oh, click on my knee. Exhale, lower those hips. Send those shoulders back. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Settle in here for a moment. You might want to look over your right shoulder. You might want to come to center and bow your head. You might want to look over your left shoulder. Breathing there. And pressing into those hands, lift those bottoms high. Coming back towards your knees again, slide those hands back. Turn the palms over and just gently press into the back of the hands to release any tension there. Then rotate those wrists. Releasing any pressure, it's quite intense on the wrists. Walking those hands forwards, you know what's coming. Tuck those toes underneath. We're going to first of all lift the knees into a momentary plank. Really press the heels away. Feel the lengthening of those calves. Keep your hands and feet where they are. On the next inhale, raise those hips high. Your heels stay off the mat. Pressing into the base of your hands, coming back to your downward dog. And then begin to walk out your feet. Step them out. You might want to sway your hips side to side. Breathing here. Maybe nodding and shaking that head, particularly if you've got any tension into your neck and shoulders. And then looking towards your hands, taking small steps up to the middle of your yoga space, whether it be a mat or carpet or maybe even grass outside. Bend those knees deep so we're not shocking those hamstrings too early. Allow your head to hang heavy, maybe taking each elbow, and sway your weight from one foot to the other. So shifting that weight side to side, breathing there. Lovely. Inhale, start to lower your hands down to the mat, but then tuck that tailbone under to start stacking that vertebrae on top of each other. As you slowly roll yourself up, your head and arms are super heavy. They're coming up last, rolling at the top. Take those shoulder rolls again, 2-3 times. And let's just do that hand drum sway again to release any tension. So feet are planted down, but your knee can bend. Just allowing those arms to bat your hips. Loosening everything up. Getting the blood pumping. Circulation going and just doing, you know, a cool little dance. Well, maybe cool if you're over the age of 30. Okay, pausing there. Let's just set ourselves up for some side leans. So my feet are hip distance apart. Roll those shoulders, plant those shoulder blades down your back. We inhale, lifting that chest up. Exhale, take a lean, slide that left hand down, left leg. Avoid the temptation to collapse in. Make sure those shoulders are stacked on top of each other. The goal is not how low you can go, but feeling that stretch there. This stretch will then engage as you inhale, contracting those muscles to take yourself back up and over to the other side. Exhale. Lovely. Inhale. One more time over to the left. Exhale. See if you can maybe really focus on that exhale. Feel heavy to go a tiny bit lower. Inhale, coming up. Exhaling, coming down. Stepping your legs even further apart. I recommend turning your toes in on a slight diagonal and shifting the weight to the outsides of those ankles. So you're really lifting your foot arch. When you do this, the temptation is to stick out your bottom, thinking about those short muscles in your hips. Tuck that tailbone under, feel that stretch there, and maybe bringing the weight more into your toes. So we're in our wide leg, taking your arms out to the side, take your hands in a clasp behind you, hold your own hands and bring those hands down. Palms together if you can. If they're like this, absolutely fine, but really try and work on starting to bring those palms together. If that's too much, take your elbows and encourage those shoulder blades to come together. Breathing there, taking the gaze up high. And then as we exhale, lower your body down halfway. Pause there, my hands are on my back to begin with. Check in that you're not shifting your weight into your heels. If you are, bring your body forward so you have to grip the mat with your toes. Breathe. Inhale, rising up. There's a lot going on there. It's a hamstring stretch, shoulder stretch, forearm stretch, even into our elbows. Relax everything off. This time, however you clasped your hand, open up, shift the fingers and clasp the other way. Should feel like someone's holding your hand. That's a good thing. So shifting that unusual feeling into that clasp, squeezing those shoulder blades together, lifting that chest, and exhale, we come down again. Bringing those toes forward, this time bringing the hands as high as you can. Let your head go. Hang heavy. If it's too intense on the back of your legs, bend your knees slightly. Focus on the head being heavy. Exhale, exhale. Inhale, bring those hands to the base of your spine, bending the knees slightly to bring yourself up. Roll your shoulders here. Bend your right leg to bring it back towards your left and walk out those feet. We're going to come through a gentle sun salutation into some low lunges and a wide side angle posture, hands in prayer. Feet are hip distance apart, pick up those toes, grip the mats, tuck that tailbone under, avoid super straight legs and pushing those knees back, particularly if you are hypermobile, slightly bending those knees. Inhale, we take those hands high. Exhale, draw a line down with your thumbs as you begin to bow down. Bringing the fingertips all the way to the mat, hang heavy, let the head go. Inhale, hands to shins, look forwards, bring those shoulders back, tuck that tailbone under. Exhale, fold down again. Inhale, rise, hands to shins, flat back, or maybe to really kick in those glutes and the back muscles, send those arms back like aeroplane wings, opening up that chest, squeezing the shoulder blades. Exhale, lower. Step one foot back, way back, lengthening that calf. Step the other foot back, way back. Bring down the knees. Unhook the toes, bring your elbows to touch your ribcage and pause there. Then begin to slowly lower yourself all the way down onto your mat. Keep your hands where they are. We inhale, drawing those elbows back towards our hips. Lower down. Inhale, coming up again. Exhale down. Inhale, bringing yourself up. Tuck your toes here. Contract those quads. So option to keep the knees down and lift yourself up like this in a half press up. If you're feeling super strong today and you want a challenge, press into those hands coming up in one strong plank, shouting you are strong because you are, and then lifting your hips high to the ceiling, walking out those feet. Breathing there. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Look up at your hands. Bend your knees will help you bring your left foot towards your hands. If it doesn't get there, you've got to here, grab it with your hand, pick it up and put it there, and then lower your right knee down. Unhook the toes. Come onto your thigh with your hands and push yourself up. So thinking about this muscle here, shoulders back and down, tuck that tailbone under. You should be feeling a deep, intense stretch there. Hands are clasped, placed on our knee. Breathe. And then exhale, begin to move forward, coming onto the top of that right knee. If your knee is overshooting, you can see mine goes past my ankle. Wriggle that left foot forward. Your left knee should be above that left ankle. Breathing there. Allowing that deep stretch to open. Take your hands off your knee wherever you are. You may be up here, that's fine. Taking them in a clasp behind your back, and let's open that chest, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Breathe. Release those hands down. Slide that left foot back to meet the right. Tuck those toes, lift the hips high. Walk out those feet, get that blood pumping and moving again. Bend those knees deep. This time we're bringing that right foot forward to the front of our mats. Bring that left knee down. Unhook those left toes, place the left foot on the mat. Pressing into that right heel, our hands come up onto our thigh in that clasp, and we bring our body up. Tuck that tailbone under. In fact, do me a favor and stick it out first of all. When you stick it out, feel how it feels fine on that left side. And then when you tuck it under and lift your body up, hello to the big stretch. That's what we're working for. Just take a moment to find your level of stretch. Breathing there. And then perhaps allowing your body to go a little bit deeper without that curve in your spine. Everyone can kind of sink down with their weight, but what we're doing there is compressing that vertebrae. So use your strength in that right glute, that right heel, to keep that alignment. Taking those hands behind your back, squeezing them together, the opposite clench, opening up that chest. Breathe. And lowering your hands down. Slide that right foot back, tuck those toes, lift those hips, walking your downward dog out, your Adho Mukha Shavasana. Breathing there. Check in with your alignment. Your fingers should be spread wide, middle finger facing forwards. Stick that tailbone out. So if you find you're hunching like this, bend your knees, but stick your bottom out. Breathing there. This time, take your right foot forward again. Coming with your hands straight onto that right thigh, your left leg is still long. Lengthen that left heel back. Breathe. Release the hands so that right glute really works hard. Send those hands high as if you're lifting a box above your head. And then exhale, bring those elbows down to your rib cage like we did at the beginning, cactus arms. Inhale, they rise up. Exhale, they come down. Then we're drawing everything together. Bring that left heel down to the mat. Pivoting on the heel, bring that right elbow to your right thigh. Your palm is facing the ceiling. Left hand on our left hip, first of all, to open up that shoulder, that left hip. Breathe there. This is side angle. If you're comfortable, take that left hand high and then over by your left ear. So it's a straight long line from your fingers right to that ankle. So shifting the weight to the outside of that left ankle. Breathe. And then inhale, coming all the way up. Through a warrior two for a moment, lengthen in that right leg. Pivot that right foot in, pivot that left foot out. Lower on that left side through a warrior two. Left hand comes to the left thigh. Right hand to the right hip to open the hip, open the shoulder. Shift the weight to the outside of the right ankle. And then maybe taking that right hand high. Maybe taking it over by your right ear for that super long, straight line. Maybe if you were to get a toy car on my fingers, it would travel all the way down my body and off to the ankle. Lovely, let's take that right hand down. Pivot on the right foot so your heel raises, your left hand comes down. Press into that left heel, coming into that high lunge on the left side, raising that imaginary box by your head. Exhale, the elbows come down into that cactus, lifting the chest. And inhale, rise. Exhale, bring those elbows down into that cactus. And rise. Lowering those hands down to frame that foot. Slide it back to meet the right. Step out to your downward facing dog. And then bring your knees out wide. Bring your big toes to touch. Bring your bottom to your heels. Lengthen your hands forward for that gorgeous child's pose. Or as the very lovely lady in my class last night called it, the pose of the child, which I do like. Pressing your elbows into the mat, bring your hands into prayer, and then bring your thumbs to the base of the neck. So for a deeper shoulder stretch here, as you inhale, you're pressing into your elbows. And as you exhale, you relax. So it's kind of a PNF stretch if you're used to that terminology. So we're deeply pressing into our elbows to contract. And then as you exhale, you relax to allow that stretch to go a little bit deeper. One more time there. And lower those hands down. Rock those hips side to side. Really nice. Just finding that opening in your hips, your glutes. Walking those hands back towards your knees. Bringing your knees together so we're sitting on our heels. Keep walking those hands back. Again, the fingertips face forwards. Squeezing those shoulder blades together. Lifting up those hips. It may not be very high. You can drop your head back. Breathing there. then lower those bottoms down to your feet. Walking those hands forwards, shifting your feet out to the side so you can bring your bottom down. Bringing your feet in front of you, heel toe them a little bit wider than hip distance, bringing those hands back behind you for support, and exhale those knees over to the left. Keep your shoulders facing forward, they'll want to follow, but think about those shoulder blades drawing towards each other. Inhaling to center, exhale to the right. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the left. Inhaling to center, exhale to the right. Inhaling to center, and then crossing your ankles back here. Ending how we began. However, one last tension contraction exercise that is really, really good for the lower abs, the lower core, which is, as we know, vital to get rid of backache. If you have Lotus in your practice, I know there might be maybe one of you who does. Please do come into Lotus, where you bring your feet on top of your thighs. Everybody else, you're joining me. Hands either side of your thighs. The closer to the knees, the better. I want you, so I'll explain what we're doing. We're going to be lifting our bottom up high. And that's that Uddiyana Bandha in yoga speak, or your pelvic floor that we're really concentrating on. And it's also shoulder and arm strength. Hands either side of your thighs. Shift your weight forwards. Then press into your hands super strong so you can see my shoulders are coming up. Lean forwards. Stop a wee that might be coming, so that pelvic floor lifts, that pubic bone lifts, and lift your bottom off. It might be just for one breath. And down. Might try it again. We inhale, lift. Whilst you're inhaling up the top, exhale. And then lower. Try not to lift and hold your breath, because all that will do is create tension and you'll come down and go, ah. And that sends your message to your brain that this is really challenging. We're going to lift, exhale, and lower. I think that's enough. If you gave that a go, thank you. Well done. Rotate those wrists. It's really quite intense on the wrists, the shoulders. And eventually you'll all levitate. And just pressing them together, press the backs of your hands together. Again, finding that comfortable seated position. Allow the palms to face up. Roll the shoulders down your back, closing your eyes. Part your jaw, but your lips are closed, breathing in and out of the nose. Just allow this opportunity of stillness, of calm. Allow that heart rate to slow down again after being raised from that exertion at the end. And with your eyes closed, coming back to that breath, that square breath that we began the session with. So starting at that bottom left corner, just joining me for at least one round. Inhaling, coming up that left side. Pausing at the top. Exhaling down that right side. Pausing at the bottom. Inhaling. Exhaling. So I really recommend and invite you to just keep going with that square breath for maybe 2, 3, 4 rounds. But again, it's been a pleasure guiding you through a yoga practice today. I'm going to end with the word namaste, which means my light shines for your light, is the translation. I really hope you enjoyed the session. Enjoy the rest of your week.